what you need to do is think of yourself in the future and then use that as your reference point, because the way how you act in the present is going to dictate your future. So guys, welcome back to the channel. Montel Gordon here. Hope you guys are all doing well, staying safe, washing your hands and staying indoors. For those of you who are new around here, make sure you drop a like, comment and subscribe. Make sure you hit on that notification bell. Guys, I was looking into some of my statistics on YouTube and they are horrendous. Most of you guys that are watching this, like 70% of the people who are watching this, aren't even subscribed. So if that's one of you guys, please help me out a little bit and drop that subscribe. Also, I noticed that a lot of people who are subscribed don't have the notification bell turned on, so if you could do all that for me, that would help me immensely. It will help me get my word out there and hopefully it can change more people's lives, because that's the goal with this channel. I'm just a regular dude trying to document his journey, going through this whole SMMA stuff and entrepreneur stuff, all that good stuff. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. So guys, in today's video I want to break down exactly how you can go about still closing clients as an introvert. Now, I know that you guys out there think I may be like super confident and stuff like that because I got the YouTube channel, I've got the Instagram and the personal brand and stuff like that, and I do these YouTube videos. But actually guys, I'm actually quite introverted. Now it's funny with me because I'm kind of like a hybrid in between like being an extrovert and an introvert. Most of the time when it comes to like serious stuff, I'm an introvert, and what I mean by that is like sales calls, presentations and stuff like that. I used to be, now I'm much better, but I used to be such an introvert that I used to hate doing those. In fact, let me give you a bit of an example. Back in university, so this was like probably like 5 years ago at this point, so like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but essentially I was in university studying business and stuff like that, and we used to have to do presentations. In fact, throughout school you just had to do presentations. That was one of the things on the curriculum. You just had to do it, and like it was part of your grade as well. So I remember there was me and Vincent, if you're ever watching this, shout out to you. It's been a long time since we actually spoken, but anyway, there was me and this dude called Vincent. He's actually an old friend of mine that we actually, it was like a class buddy basically, and we had to partner up and do a presentation for business in order to kind of get a mark for our grade. So you had to partner up with somebody, do a presentation and present it in front of the class on some sort of one of those wacky business theory models that don't really help you in business, but they still make you study it anyway, just in case it ever pops up in life, kind of like Pythagoras or some shit like that in math. But anyway guys, we had to do this presentation. So me being an introvert, and this is how bad it really was guys, like no joke, I literally did not want to do this presentation because I was shit scared of speaking in front of the class. In fact, I was so scared of speaking in front of the class, I actually drew up a plan for me and Vincent to get out of this presentation. Vincent was pretty confident in speaking and stuff like that. He didn't really have a problem with that. He works in like call centers and stuff like that as part-time, so he was completely fine. Me on the other hand, I was shit scared. Like I was terrified. There was no way I was about to do this presentation. Throughout the whole of like uni, I was kind of dodging these presentations, and like even if we have to present, I was kind of like the guy that just operated the slides basically. I just controlled the computer and pressed next on the PowerPoint slide, and I didn't really speak much. So I've been dodging this bullet throughout all my time in uni. Even in school, when I think about like high school and stuff, I was always that guy to click the button on the computer, so I was always dodging this. So the time comes around where I cannot possibly dodge this because it's actually part of my grade. So I end up drawing up this plan to get out of it. We literally came up with a plan, well technically it was me that came up with the plan, to literally say that Vincent's contact lens, because he used to wear contact lenses, that on the day his contact lens ripped in his eye and we could not present that day. That's how much of a pussy I used to be guys. I've gone from that to completely like closing like 7-figure business owners. Like literally one of my first clients, a dental client I had, was a 7-figure business owner, a self-made 7-figure business owner. I also closed another client that was a 7-figure business owner. The business owners I'm working with now are pulling in like 50k in one business and have like multiple businesses. So I'm used to speaking to high level people now, being able to learn sales, teach sales to myself, and turn that introvertness into more extrovertness and confidence as well. And guys, think about this. So if I was given the option like back 2 years ago or something like that to either start SMMA or start, drop shipping or e-commerce, if you will, I would have picked e-commerce. The reason being is because like I would have looked at the business model, and I obviously know that SMMA is more of a stable business model if you do it properly. I mean, e-commerce is still a good business model, don't get me wrong out there. There's people killing it out there with e-commerce, but I still feel like SMMA is still the best business model. Even though I would have known SMMA is the best business model, out of fear, I still would have picked e-commerce because I know that it would be more of me just being on my computer and hiding behind my computer trying to make money online, not having to speak with many people at all. So that's the reason why if you take a look back on my channel, it's probably one of the main reasons why I actually started dropshipping. Now, to be fair, I didn't really know about SMMA back when I started dropshipping, and even if I did, to be honest with you guys, I probably still would have picked e-commerce over SMMA, not because it's a better business model in my opinion. I just feel like it would have been out of fear because I didn't want to speak with people, because SMMA, you have to deal with clients, you have to talk to people, you have to do face-to-face sales and stuff like that. So guys, I just want to break down a couple of like mental tricks and strategies you can actually use and implement, and methods, I guess, that you can actually implement in your business. If you're an introvert, that you can actually go forwards and still actually close clients. I know what it's like being super shy. In fact, I remember my first couple of cold calls, my first sales calls, did not close any of them. They were terrible, got the phone shut down in my face, didn't close anything for a long time. My voice was trembling, sweaty palms, all that cliche stuff. That was me. Like literally couldn't even physically get the words out because my throat would like physically lock up to the point where I couldn't even like breathe, to the point. I'm not even joking, guys. That's what used to happen with my presentations and stuff like that. But guys, I've got a lot better, and here are a few tricks, tips, strategies, methods, whatever you want to call them, that I actually implement in my business to actually help me through that introvertness, if you will. So first and foremost, I want you to kind of play with this idea. What I'm going to say to you might sound a little bit off key. It might sound like, what the fuck are you talking about, Montel? But listen to this. There is no such thing as being an introvert or extrovert. There is no such thing. So guys, what I mean by that is you've put this label on yourself. Like you've actually put this label on yourself. You've told yourself you are an introvert. Now this could be due to what you call a negative past reference point. Now you see, I've learned a lot of mindset stuff in business, and I've noticed that like your past can actually dictate your future. Now this is going to go into a lot of like deep mindset stuff. If you can understand this, it will literally change your life for the better in whatever regards you are trying to change your life at. But guys, listen to this. If you have had one negative experience in the past, for example, you need to let that reference point go, because what's going to happen is the next time something rolls around, for example, like a sales call or you're doing a cold call, for example, you're going to look back in your past for when you've done those previously. You're going to think back to that time when you've cold called somebody and they've literally just completely shut the phone down in your face and told you to F off or something like that. That's just one negative past reference. Even if you have multiple of them, here's what you need to do instead. What you need to do is abandon the past reference points and actually plug in what you want to be like in the future. So guys, here's what's happening right now in your mind. You are using a negative past reference point, and that's dictating your future. And what I mean by that is you're thinking back to a negative time where you did a cold call and that call actually got slammed in your face, or you did a sales call and you absolutely bombed it. So what's happening there is you are trying to change your future, but the way you're acting in the present right now is you're thinking about negative past reference points. And because you're thinking about negative past reference points, it's having an effect on the actions you take here right now in the present. And because the way you act in the present right now dictates your future, you're not going to get the future you want because you're holding on to negative past reference points. You kind of need to destroy the cycle. You need to capture the cycle before it basically kicks up. And what I mean by that is you need to plug in a new future reference point that you are going to leverage. So what I mean by that is you need to think of yourself maybe 2 years down the line. You need to think of yourself having that successful business. You need to think of yourself, making multiple six figures a month, a year, whatever your goal is. You need to think of the person you are going to be at that point in time and use that as your reference point. Meaning, if I want to be $1 million businessman or entrepreneur, if you will, I have to think about what attributes, what skills, what sort of accolades I have and how I act, behave, what my attitude, mentality is of that person, of that version of Montel. That's version Montel 10.0, for example. I have to think about how he acts. How does he handle sales calls? What you need to do is think of yourself in the future and then use that as your reference point, because the way how you act in the present is going to dictate your future, and you need to act in accordance with the future you want. So if you want to be a business owner that's solid at sales calls, you need to think about, okay then, so what does Montel 10.0 do on his sales calls? How does he handle them? Is he confident? What does he do? What does he say? You need to think about that when you're about to jump in a sales call right now. I know that that's 2 years out into the future, but you need to act in accordance and be congruent with that future vision of yourself. So that would be one of the methods I would use to overcome this introvertness. Again, like I said, introvertness, extrovertness, I don't even think they really exist. They're just labels we give ourselves, and whatever label you give yourself, that's going to run true. Because if you tell yourself over and over and over again that you're an extrovert, eventually you're going to become an extrovert, guys. And that's one of the another points, like positive affirmations and stuff like that can really help in this situation. So guys, point number 2 is, if you're really an introvert, again, which I don't really believe even exists, I think it's just a preconception that people kind of put on themselves, or like a notion that people put on themselves, and then because they've put a notion on themselves, they live in accordance with that. That's what I basically think introvert. But guys, as I was saying, if you really are an introvert, like I said, like I don't really believe that exists, what you can do is just focus on your strengths instead of your weaknesses. And what I mean by that is just go and use other methods in SMMA to go out there and reach out to clients. I mean, think about it. You can leverage like freelance websites such as Upwork. I think there's the one called elance.com. I don't really use that one. I just stick to upwork.com, to be honest. Or any other like freelance or like online job boards where you're looking for social media marketers and stuff like that. You can actually leverage those because you don't need to put your face on camera, or you don't need to speak with anyone directly if you're super introverted. And again, I have a lot of people ask me, you know, how do I close clients without ever showing them my face? Because most of my clients, like 99% of them, have not actually seen my face. Like, that's really crazy. Well, except for one of them's actually seen my face, and that's just due to them seeing my YouTube videos. But I've never actually had a call with them one-on-one where they've actually seen my face on Zoom, for example. Most of my Zoom calls, I turn off the camera and stuff like that so I can concentrate more and actually be more present in the moment and not worrying about how I look. But again, guys, just focus on methods or outreach methods don't require you to be speaking to somebody one-on-one. And again, this is going to lead me into the next point, which is just baby step it, guys. What I mean by baby step it is basically take it step by step, compound, build up, take little action. And what that's going to do is enable you to overcome most of the pain that you would have gone through if you was cold calling. And by that time, you'll get closer and closer to the sales call. And because you're closer to the sales call, you may just think, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do this sales call anyway. And you just jump on a sales call and just completely crush it because you're just there anyway. So it's kind of like dipping your toe in the water and then just kind of, you know, just thinking, fuck it, I'm already here now. I've already got my way to the lake. I've already took off my clothes and now I'm ready to do this. So I might as well fucking jump in now, head first. So guys, the final and last like tip, trick, mental thing you can actually do is mental visualization. I kind of mentioned this earlier with the affirmations. Mental visualization and like affirmations, kind of similar, but here's what you can do, guys. There was actually a study done by an Australian psychologist. I believe he was a psychologist, don't quote me on this, but basically he split a team up in 3. So there was a basketball team and he split the team up in 3. I think it was like over a month, 2 months, 3 months. I don't know however long the period was, but basically he split a team up in 3. I think I mentioned this on my channel as well before, but he split the team up into 3 groups. So group A, B, and C. Group A actually physically practiced stepping up to the line and taking free throws in an open net. So group A was actually physically practicing for 20 minutes hitting free throws each and every day, as in they would physically walk to the basketball court, pick up the ball, dribble the ball, and actually shoot the free throws. The second group, which is group B, was mentally visualizing them actually walking up to the actual line and shooting free throws for 20 minutes each day, but they didn't physically actually shoot the ball. Basically, they just mentally sat there, closed their eyes, and visually seen themselves in like first person view of them actually going to the line and shooting the basketball and making a successful shot. And then group C was like a control group. I think they're called control groups basically, and they did not do any physical practice or visualization. And group A, which did physical practice, improved the most, obviously. Group B improved almost as good as group B, so it was like a 1% difference or something like that. And then group C, which did no physical practice, obviously didn't improve at all. But guys, think about this. It's absolutely crazy. It blows my mind every time I hear this story. Group A and group B, the people who physically practice and the people who visualize, were almost identical in the improvement they made over the month period or however long it was. So guys, the whole study was basically to show you the mind cannot actually dictate and distinguish between what's actually physically real and what's illusionary. So what you can actually do, guys, is actually practice your sales calls over and over again. And what this is going to do, guys, is physically improve your skills in the real world. Because think about it, you can only do a set number of cold calls per day, for example, until you physically burn out. But if I told you to visualize you doing like 100 cold calls or 10,000 cold calls, you could easily do that because you're in the own comfort and safety of your mind, basically. And you can physically run yourself through doing 1,000 different cold calls without actually burning that much energy. I mean, obviously you're going burn a lot of mental energy, but like physically you're not going to get tired, your voice box is not going to wear out and stuff like that. But guys, in the comfort and safety of your own mind, you can actually visualize all your cold calls and you can actually improve yourself like that. So that's a little way you can actually hack yourself into becoming an extrovert. So if you're scared of sales calls, just go and practice sales calls in your head until you've done thousands of sales calls. Now you know that you're not going to introvert anymore. It's just a lack of confidence basically. Confidence comes from competence and competence comes from practice. And if you can practice multiple times in your own head, you're going to kill everybody else and you're going to remove your introvertness and become an extrovert and a killer salesperson. Because again, the mind can't actually tell what's real from what's fake basically. And if you can mentally rehearse your sales calls and go through the script and handle certain objections and throw things your way and actually visualize the calls going bad and then you bringing it back online and then actually closing the sale, what's going to happen, guys, is you're actually going to get more confident. You're actually going to become less of an introvert, more of an extrovert, and you're going to be able to handle those sales calls. So those would be the tips I would implement going back if I was to, look between, starting at SMMA and e-commerce. I would definitely take SMMA and then jump straight into sales stuff, and I would actually mentally rehearse all this stuff, and I would use a positive future reference instead of the past. The past can never be changed. There's no reason you should be going back to the past, and also doing affirmations and stuff like that. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this and I hope that you've learned something from this. I hope that I can change at least one of your guys' minds on this whole introvert extrovert thing. Again, I just think it's a label you're putting on yourself. That nobody's really born an introvert or extrovert. It's kind of like saying people can be born racist. Like, people can't be born racist. It's actually something to teach yourself. Don't self-teach yourself it. Basically reverse the teaching. Anyway, hope you guys turn into some savage salespeople. For those of you who need help, by the way, with your SMMA and stuff like that, I still have my 4-week program open to the public, so you can actually sign up for that and we can actually work directly one-on-one with each other, and I'll teach you basically how to get clients on Upwork, LinkedIn, and you don't have to do any cold calling stuff. But anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.